Hello viewers. The impact of the energy crisis on Europe is the responsibility of politicians. Europe is in an unprecedented energy crisis. Among the devastating consequences are skyrocketing electricity costs and extreme price increases that shock the European economies. Those in power project the blame for the problem onto Russia, while citizens take the brunt of it. However, the picture of the energy crisis is as infantile as it is a lie. Everywhere in the Western world and especially in Europe, globalist politicians are trying to normalize a greatly deteriorated standard of living for the population, when many countries are now driven into an exceptional economic crisis due to the politically induced stoppage of imports of gas and oil from Russia. From a political point of view, a new era is being declared, where the time of abundance and freedom from sorrow is now over, as French President Emmanuel Macron puts it. I think we are about to live through a turning point or great upheaval. First, because we are living through what appears to be the end of abundance, and for those who enjoyed it, it is also the end of a carefree time. Like other European leaders, Macron does not see the crisis as a consequence of the policies he has pursued, but blames it on external factors. The globalist think tank World Economic Forum is, unsurprisingly, not late to catch on to the trend. Among other things, commercials have been created that are spread on the internet, emphasizing that it can be healthy to take a cold shower and that those who do this are healthier and become more productive citizens. Independent analysts point out that the think tank's vision of the Great Reset, the theme of the infamous Davos meeting in 2021, is in line with a strong reduction and control of energy consumption that is called for, if not with war and energy crisis as a pretext, so with climate policy motives. Attending the meeting in question was WEF's foreground profile Klaus Schwab and, among others, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, World Health Organization Director Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, International Monetary Fund Director Kristalina Georgieva, European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Independent analysts point out that the think tank's vision of the Great Reset, the theme of the infamous Davos meeting in 2021, is in line with a strong reduction and control of energy consumption that is called for, if not with war and energy crisis as a pretext, then with climate policy motives. In system-loyal media channels, this powerful lobby group is ignored, alternatively its extensive influence is dismissed as disinformation. For example, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, who during the summer attacked the agricultural sector in the Netherlands under climate policy pretexts, has also been questioned in parliament for his close ties to Schwab, and in a letter of thanks to him has called the Great Reset vision a hopeful analysis for a better future, questions that Rutte himself dismissed as conspiracy theories. Geopolitical motives, especially from the American side, also appear to be in the background of the extreme energy policy pursued in Europe. In what appears to be an exceptional internal leak of a document from the pro-government think tank RAND Corporation, known among other things to have been behind foreign and defense policy strategy during the Cold War, it is detailed how and why the energy crisis in Europe was planned from American hold. Under the opening heading Weaken Germany, Strengthen the USA, it is believed that there is an urgent need for an influx of resources from outside, especially to the banking system, to maintain the American economy. The document, dated January, acknowledges that the aggressive foreign policy pursued in Ukraine will pressure Russia into having to intervene militarily in the country. The purpose, they explain, is to introduce a sanctions package that has been prepared for a long time. The EU's economy, they state, will inevitably collapse as a result of this, and they rejoice, among other things, that resources of up to $9,000 billion can flow to the United States and that well-educated European youth will be forced to emigrate. The main geopolitical goal they describe is to divide Europe, especially Germany and Russia, and destroy the European economy by getting useful idiots in politics to stop Russian energy supplies to the continent. Putin prices. Sweden's Prime Minister Magdalena Andersson has herself consistently spoken of Putin prices and, like many other European leaders, puts the entire responsibility for the energy crisis on Russia, which is believed to have cut off gas supplies in order to punish the EU and its citizens for various reasons. However, this is firmly rejected by Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov, who emphasizes that it is Western sanctions against Russia and Russian companies that are blocking gas supplies to Europe. The problems with the pumping were caused by Western sanctions directed at our country and a number of companies. There are no other reasons that would lead to problems with the pumps, he says, adding that deliveries can continue immediately when the sanctions are lifted. The Russian energy giant Gazprom has announced that, due to the sanctions, the manufacturer Siemens is not allowed to carry out repairs on the turbines in Nord Stream 1. Sanctions prevent the devices from being repaired and prevent them from being moved without appropriate legal guarantees, Peskov continues. A consistent point in the propaganda narrative that is being pushed is that, despite the catastrophic situation, the Europeans have no right to complain because there is a war in Ukraine and the population there is even worse off, a line that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky also expresses. Gas is nothing, try to imagine what I am talking about and that this is happening in your home or in your country. Would you then continue to talk about gas prices or electricity prices, he asks himself. The responsibility for the solution is placed on the population. The EU Commission's political solution is not about strengthening energy production, but has instead put forward a plan for the Union to reduce its gas consumption by 15% until next spring. It is required that private individuals as well as companies, authorities and public administrations take measures to save on gas. The new regulation would also allow the Commission, after consultation with member states, to announce a Union alert on security of supply and impose a mandatory reduction in demand for gas, they write in a press release. The Commission also wants all member states' emergency plans to be updated by the end of September at the latest to show how they intend to achieve the reduction target, and they should report to the Commission on progress every 2 months. Member states requesting solidarity gas deliveries will be required to show what measures they have taken to reduce domestic demand, it writes further. According to the European Commission, there is a broad range of measures to reduce the demand for gas, and the member states must promote a broad reduction of heating and cooling, including in public buildings. The Danish EU Commissioner Margrethe Vestager, who in the spring also made herself known for pushing the EU's stricter digital censorship legislation, European Digital Services Act, emphasized already in March at a conference that 2 things must be done for the sake of Ukraine: that young people learn more technology and that you and your children shower less. She also adds that, after turning off the shower, you should say "Take that, Putin." Coordinated rationing campaigns in Germany, the country's largest landlord, lowers the heat, something Naya Dagbladet previously reported on. Already in July, it was announced that it was lowering the temperature for its tenants to 17 degrees between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. In Augsburg, Germany, they have started turning off fountains, dimming the streetlights and lowering the heat in the municipal buildings. Similar changes are being made all over Germany. We want to show the citizens of Augsburg that we may be facing really tough times. We must all make sure to really save energy, says the city's mayor Eva Weber. Another possibility that is frequently discussed is the rationing of hot water. The northern German city of Hamburg already announced this summer that in the event of a gas crisis, they will lower the temperature indoors during the winter and limit how much hot water the citizens can use. In order for people not to freeze to death when they cannot afford heating or are not allowed to heat their homes, public heating halls are to be set up in German cities, which are supposed to function as some kind of refuge when their own electricity is switched off. Since no one can say exactly how dramatic the development will be, one should consider providing heating islands or heating halls, where especially the elderly can stay during a very cold winter, says the head of the German Association of Municipalities, Gerd Landsberg. German authorities have also flagged that speed limits could be lowered to save fuel. Even in other countries, rationing returns as the primary solution to the problem. In France, air-conditioned shops are forced to keep their doors closed to save energy, and illuminated signs will be switched off when businesses have closed. The temperature in shops and supermarkets should also not exceed 17 degrees when there are the most visitors, because it is believed that the body heat from the large number of people will still lead to a sufficient temperature. In Great Britain, targeted campaigns are carried out where citizens are asked to lower their indoor temperature, take shorter showers, wash dishes at night, and in other ways make an effort to save electricity. Private actors have also urged Britons to cuddle with pets, eat porridge or carry out various physical exercises to stay warm during the winter. The Danes are also urged along the same lines to shower for a shorter time or less often and to use drying lines instead of tumble dryers. Even in Denmark, the population is advised to wash dishes at night. Lowering the temperature indoors this winter will also become a reality in Italy, and here too, the lights are turned off in the evening. They are also considering temporarily shutting down industries and factories during the winter in order to save electricity. Similar measures are implemented in Spain and Switzerland with temperature reductions and various forms of regulation, and in Finland, in addition to using less water, citizens must also reduce speed on the roads to save fuel. In Ireland, citizens are also targeted with the Reduce Your Use campaign, which calls on the Irish to reduce their consumption in various ways. Similar campaigns and action packages have been launched or will soon be launched in a number of other countries, the recurring message is that there is no other solution than to drastically reduce electricity consumption and that citizens must lower their standard of living in various ways. Swedes may be completely without electricity in Sweden. It has been reported that citizens may have their electricity cut off this winter due to the recurring lack of power, something that has never happened before. This shutdown may occur automatically or manually, and Svenska Kraftnät confirms that it may be necessary to cut the power for Swedish electricity users. You simply turn off an area, says Niklas Damsgaard, chief strategist at Svenska Kraftnät, to Bonnierdetningen DN. It is primarily residents in Skane, Blekinge, and Kronoberg counties, as well as parts of Halland, Jönköping and Kalmar counties that are at risk of having their electricity cut off, and the whole thing risks happening so quickly that households are not warned before it is time. We have seen that the risk has increased, even if it has not happened in modern times, says electricity market analyst Christian Holtz. It is primarily during the mornings and late afternoons that the electricity may be disconnected for the Swedes, but it is added that the risk of electricity collapse can be reduced by the citizens themselves reducing their electricity consumption and thus contributing to the energy system. Despite the fact that many may be without electricity this winter, however, Holtz himself believes that one should not worry. Most people have experienced similar situations in a regular power outage or storm. So it's nothing completely new, he says. In tax-financed SVT, and by the Swedish Agency for Community Protection and Preparedness, the Swedes are also told that they can put on a thick sweater if they are cold this winter, or why not build a hut under the table with pillows and blankets to keep warm. The responsibility lies with those in power. All activities in a modern society are directly or indirectly dependent on the energy supply, where less energy availability and higher energy prices are reflected throughout the entire economic spectrum. The energy crisis, now a fact, can be maintained with propaganda as intense as it is infantile, but in practical terms it could end the moment sanctions are lifted and energy imports from Russia resume. However, there is no indication that there is any such political will from the West, just as little as any ambitions are shown to replace the lost energy supply with the development of new reliable energy sources. Lost job opportunities and a sharp increase in poverty are predictable consequences of the policies that are now being pursued, where the middle class and the most vulnerable in society are, as usual, the biggest losers. Everyone should remember that on the day the dust finally settles and responsibility one fine day can be demanded for the immense suffering caused to the population by the government. If you liked the video, please hit the like button on this page and subscribe if you would like to hear more. The more likes and subscribers, the more videos